Hello, student teachers. The purpose of this video is to discuss standards 5 through 7 on your IEP template. Standard 5 is the implementation, communication, and progress monitoring and reporting that takes place after you have held your IEP meeting. At this point, you've held the IEP meeting and recorded your mock interview and uploaded that into the assignments. Now you're going to discuss all of the communication and implementation efforts that the IEP team takes in order to carry out all of the decisions that were made and inputted into the IEP. So this first action item is to fill out the accommodations table. For the accommodations table, you'll need 2 goals from your IEP that was created. Now, on that IEP, you could have several goals. I know that I've had IEPs that had up to 15 goals because there was a lot of related service providers that had created goals. For this IEP template, you only need to record 2 of the goals. So for your first goal, you'll write in the goal for goal 1. You'll input the accommodations that student needs related to that goal. And you'll also want to input the persons responsible for carrying out and delivering the direct instruction for that goal. Typically, that is the special education teacher, but if it's a speech goal or an occupational therapy goal, then that would be a related service provider providing the direct instruction for that goal. You'll also want to go into progress monitoring and how you will report progress to parents related to that goal up until mastery of the goal. Typically, special education teachers report progress 4 times a year during that IEP year up into mastery of that goal. You'll want to provide the dates of the very first progress report and the second progress report. For the first progress report, and since you might have just had this IEP meeting, this student might not have made very much progress yet because you just held the meeting. That's okay. For data results, feel free to write that this student is still at the baseline data because the IEP was just created and that the foundational skills are being taught so that student can achieve mastery by the end of the IEP year. That's perfect. Or that student might have made progress already and you can report that, which is wonderful. And so you'll want to put that next to data results. Talk with your mentor teacher about the first 2 dates in which progress is reported on goal 1, and then you'll do the same for goal 2. The accommodation summary covers, it's a qualitative summary of everything that was described in that accommodation table. So you'll want to use paragraph form to discuss everything that was inputted up here on this table, including the goals, the accommodations, when you will report progress, if progress has been made, and the persons responsible for delivering that direct instruction. This last part of Standard 5 is your communication plan for general education teachers and related service staff. The special education teacher has the job of coordinating and ensuring that the IEP is being implemented across that student's day. And so general ed teachers, including the PE teacher, the music teacher, the art teacher, every single general ed teacher that works with that student needs to be provided with an updated copy of that student's accommodations. I also like to provide those teachers with that student's new goals that were created so that they know the goals that student is working on. They can help with that student achieving goals, and we can discuss with that teacher ways in which that teacher can work with the student on getting better at the goals that they're working on in the special education classroom. So you'll want to discuss how will you relay all of the information, the new accommodations, the new goals, in times in which that student will need to leave in order to attend their services, or if that related service provider or special education teacher will be pushing into their classroom. What will that discussion look like? Will it take place in person? Will it take place via email? Is there a special team meeting, a weekly team meeting that's in place in which you relay that information to general ed teachers and related service staff? You'll want to describe that in this part of the document. Standard 6 discusses the revised IEP. Now, when we hold the IEP meeting, we make educated decisions based on recent data, the data that we know, and all of the people involved, their goodwill and good intentions in creating the best IEP possible for this student. And sometimes once the IEP is implemented across that student's school day, it becomes obvious to the people that are working with that student that certain accommodations might not be appropriate, or maybe upon collecting data, it does not seem like that student will make enough progress to master that goal by the end of the IEP year. And that's okay. An IEP is a living, breathing document, which means that it can be changed at any point during that IEP year. So what happens once a team member feels like an addendum needs to be made, they can call a team meeting and discuss with the 5 required members of the team what is being proposed. Is it an addendum, an amendment, or a modification to the IEP, which really means does something need to be added to that student's school day in order for that student to successfully access their curriculum? Does something need to be taken away from that IEP for reasons which that person has collected data and feels is necessary? That student will be more successful with something taken away from the IEP. It really is a team decision, and so you want to document the data and the process for making addendums and amendments to an IEP document. And this last part of step 6 is the family communication plan. Families and parents are members of the IEP team. And so they, although they're not at school providing the services, it is their right to receive progress on their student towards their goals. And so you want to discuss how often you're communicating with those parents regarding student progress. You'll definitely want to put in those 4 dates in which you'll be giving progress reports to the parents on that student's progression towards mastery of the goals. And this last part, standard 7, is my favorite part, the reflection of the IEP process. I have held hundreds and hundreds of IEP meetings, and even my very last IEP meeting last year, the goal is never perfection, but always reflection is needed. And how can I, as a professional, be better at conducting IEP meetings, facilitating all of the members of the IEP team so that everyone gets a chance to talk? How can I be a better consensus maker? I wonder if I can be more efficient in delivering services or instruction or collecting data so that I can get better at my favorite thing, which is teaching students who have special needs. So your job is to identify areas in which you need to continue learning and improve your practice, which is what I am doing too. This is a shared responsibility all teachers have to continue to think, I've never mastered this myself. I continue to find ways to get better at this, and I share that with you. So you'll complete this last component, the reflection process, and then that's the entire IEP step document. You did a wonderful thing. An IEP can be an intimidating process. I remember my very first IEP that I looked at, and it was 17 pages of blank that I had to fill. And I found it very intimidating, but it got easier and easier. And it will be the same for you too. I'm here if you have questions about this particular IEP, and also along the way, you have my email address. And so after our class, if you're writing one of your first IEPs and you have questions, please reach out and email me. I never get tired of reviewing IEPs and helping find solutions and wording and where to put information. So many people have helped me along the way get better IEPs. I'm happy to help you. So please reach out if you have questions when you're writing your first IEPs. Have a wonderful day, and thank you.